15 self-made billionaires that were once poor. Welcome to alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. alux.com has always been about inspiring others, sharing with you the stories and journey of others in order for you, the Aluxers, to learn from and create your own vision for the future. In this original video, we're taking a look at not 5, not 10, but 15 self-made billionaires that started out poor. We all know you wish to achieve great financial success in order to make an impact on the world or at least your local community. So one thing we'd like you to learn from this video is where these people started from. If they can do it, what's your excuse? Let's get started. Number 15, Oprah Winfrey. Net worth $2.9 billion. You get a car, you get a car, everybody gets a car. I remember watching that Oprah show on TV and I got goosebumps. Oprah Winfrey surprised all of her audience at the studio that day with a special gift. Brand new car for everyone. You would wonder what lies beneath such generosity. Oprah knew what it's like to struggle in life. She was born into poverty to a teenage single mum. She was living on a farm without indoor plumbing. She was raped and molested in her early teens, and when she was only 14, she gave birth to a child that would die in his infancy. Thanks to the federal program, she was given access to a rich suburban school where she discovered her path to success through public speaking and debate. Then she got a part-time job at a radio station, which led her to the historical Oprah Winfrey Show. To date, it still holds the record for the highest rated talk show on TV in the United States. Today, Oprah is a media mogul. As an actress, director, producer, and entrepreneur, Oprah has made herself worth $2.9 billion. She is currently the richest North American black person and considered by many the most influential woman in media. Number 14, Kenneth Langone. Net worth $2.9 billion. Kenneth Langone made his fortune through smart financial investments. He's best known for co-founding the Home Depot. He studied economics and worked on Wall Street. This is how he got acquainted to the business world. Before he became a renowned investment banker in the United States, he was living a hard knock life. Ken's parents were a plumber and a cafeteria worker. To pay for his school, they had to mortgage their house, and that was not enough. While studying at Bucknell University, Ken worked himself as a caddie. Years later, he teamed up with Bernard Marcus to start Home Depot. This retail company is now generating $88.52 billion of sales revenue every year, and it has a staggering $169.8 billion market cap, which puts it as the world's 39th most valuable brand. Today, Ken is one of the stakeholders of Home Depot, as well as other companies, especially in technology and industry fields. Number 13, John Paul DeJoria. Net worth $3 billion. John Paul DeJoria was one of the two founders of John Paul Mitchell, the famous hair product company. Today, this company is generating around $1 billion in sales every year. But who would have thought it all started with John selling shampoo door to door? There was a time when John didn't even have a place to call home. He slept in his car, and he struggled with all kinds of odd jobs just to feed himself. From janitor to gas station attendant, he's done it all. Then one day, he met Paul Mitchell. With just $700, they built the hair product company together. Besides John Paul Mitchell, John built another money-making machine, but this one was more of a hobby. He helped create a tequila distiller, Patron Spirits, which is currently making millions of cases of premium tequila every year. Today, John is worth around $3 billion. He's using his influence to inspire others. Number 12, Howard Schultz. Net worth $3 billion. Howard Schultz is the man behind what is probably the most popular coffee brand in the world, Starbucks. But it didn't all happen overnight. It took Howard years before finally being able to reap the fruits of his hard work, but it was all worth the wait. His desire to better himself began as he grew up with poor parents. His father worked on one odd job to another, but Howard fought his way out and got himself admitted to college on a football scholarship. He was the first in the family to graduate from college. He became a general manager for Hammarplast, a Swedish drip coffee maker. That was his first encounter with the world of coffee business. In 1987, he bought Starbucks, which was only a small chain in Seattle. Today, more than 17,000 Starbucks stores spread in many countries worldwide. Something most people don't know is the magic 242 number. Howard Schultz got rejected 242 times by investors in order to finance Starbucks. He didn't give up. 243 was the charm and the beginning of one of the most successful business stories in the world. Number 11, Stephen Piscotty, net worth $3.9 billion. The face of Stephen Piscotty is familiar among NFL fans. He has been the owner of Baltimore Ravens since he bought the NFL team 12 years ago. His father passed away when he was just a little kid. Stephen's mum had to raise him along with his two siblings alone. He worked hard to finally get admitted to the Salisbury State University, where he got a bachelor degree of arts and science. Then, together with his cousin, he built a high-tech temp agency. It was a small business he ran from a basement office. They worked so hard they managed to generate $1.5 million in the first year. Years later, that business grew into Allegis Group. Today, it is one of the largest private staffing firms in the world, with 15,000 internal employees and over 120,000 contracted workers all around the world. Number 10, Ralph Lauren, net worth $5.6 billion. We love Rolf at alux.com. Born in the Bronx to Jewish immigrants, he didn't have an easy childhood. He dropped out of Baruch College to serve in the army and then left to become a sales associate for a tie company. He took this job seriously and managed to sell $500,000 worth of ties in 1967 through his tie-making business he opened in a tiny office at the Empire State Building. After designing ties for other brands, Ralph decided to launch his own brand, Ralph Lauren. Today, it is one of the leading fashion brands in the world. Ralph resigned as the company's CEO 2 years ago, but remains the chairman and controls majority of the voting rights. The company today is generating $7.4 billion in sales every year. Number 9, Roman Abramovich, net worth $8.5 billion. There are so many things to say about Roman, we don't even know where to start. You might have heard his name in many of our most expensive videos, as he owns one of the most expensive private jets in the world, or the most expensive yacht right now, or for the fact that he owns the Chelsea Football Club. But it wasn't always like this. Roman was born in Lithuania, and at the age of 2, both his parents died. He was raised by his grandparents and uncle in Komi, in the Russian Arctic Circle, a place that's mostly cold, where nights are long, and there aren't many options for success. His family managed to help him become a student at the Moscow Auto Transport Institute. Even though he eventually dropped out, this was the time he got acquainted with the world of business. When he was still a student in 1987, he started a small company of plastic toys manufacturer. Abramovich's first business venture was selling plastic ducks from a Moscow apartment, but within a few years he owned several oil conglomerates and numerous pig farms. Long story short, controversies aside, he became one of the 10 richest people in Russia and an oil tycoon. Number 8, John Fredrik, net worth $9.3 billion. He is the richest man in Cyprus and gained his wealth by owning the world's largest oil tanker fleet. His portfolio covers several industries today, but he didn't start out wealthy. John was born to a blue-collar working-class family. His father was just a shipyard welder, and he spent his childhood in a simple life in Oslo, Norway. He crossed paths with shipping overseas when he ran a cargo business in the fishing industry. As he grew older, so did his interest in business. He moved to Beirut to become an oil trader and saw the huge opportunity to start an oil shipping business in the region. He took great risks by picking up oil during the Iran-Iraq wars back in the 1980s, and that risk paid off big time. Number 7, FrancoisHenri Pinault, net worth $14.8 billion. Apart from being married to Salma Hayek and his daughter being one of the richest celebrity kids in the world, which you can learn more about by clicking the top right corner, Francois is one of the richest men in France. Unlike his daughter, who will inherit his fortune, he grew up dirt poor. He was so poor that the kids would bully and humiliate him all the time, until one day when he couldn't take it anymore and dropped out. Even though it seemed like a mistake, that decision was the turning point of his career. After dropping out, Francois joined the family business in timber trading, and after decades of getting acquainted with the business world, he started buying smaller firms and merging them into one big conglomerate that he controls today. We've said it before, be careful who you make enemies with when you're young. They they might turn out to be the richest person in the country. Number 6. Thomas Peterfree, net worth $15.3 billion. Millions of traders who log into Interactive Brokers Group company's website every day should know who this man is. Thomas Peterfree is not just the owner of the company, but also the mind behind it. Back when he was still a broker, he built trading models not just for him, but also other brokers at Wall Street. Thomas was indeed one of the first to pioneer electronic trading. If we look back to where he was before all of this, it would be clear to see that Thomas is living the American dream. He came to the United States as a refugee from Hungary during a Russian bombing raid. He did not even know how to speak English or knew anyone, so he started from scratch. Years later, he's one of the most influential people in the financial world. Number 5. Leonardo Del Vecchio, net worth $18 billion. Those sunglasses look good on him, don't they? They should. This man is responsible for owning and manufacturing almost all the premium sunglasses brands in the world. Luxottica owns several world-renowned brands like Ray-Ban and Oakley. Besides that, it also manufactures glasses for Ralph Lauren, Chanel, Bulgari and Armani. Leonardo started Luxottica as a moulding shop he opened at the age of 23 after working for a while in a moulding factory. But before that, he had to learn to mould his own life from all the hard times he had to go through. His father died when he was still in his mother's womb, and because of that, his mother could not support him and his 4 siblings. They were all sent to an orphanage. He grew up there until he was able to get on his own feet. He worked any job he could find until one day when he found one in a moulding factory. Today, he is the second richest man in Italy. Number 4. George Soros, net worth $24.9 billion. Thomas Peterfree is not the only Hungarian refugee who managed to escape the threat of his own country. George Soros, the founder and chairman of Soros Fund Management, had to go through a similar situation during the Nazi occupation of his country. When he was a teenager, he had to pose as one of the kids of an employee of Hungary's Minister of Agriculture in order to keep himself safe until he could leave the country in 1947, when he managed to leave for London and reunite with some of his relatives. George survived by working as a waiter and as a railway porter. His hard work paid off as he managed to put himself through the London School of Economics, where he got a bachelor degree of arts and science. After several jobs, he decided to move to New York and work on Wall Street. That's how he got started in the hedge fund business. The rest is history. Number 3. Sheldon Adelson, net worth $30.3 billion. Who would have thought the man behind all the splurging casino resorts in Las Vegas and all around the world was in fact struggling in his life? Sheldon Adelson was born to a rough-living family in Boston. Mother a stay-at-home mum and father a cab driver. He had to drop out of school to get a job in order to survive. He was living paycheck to paycheck from one odd job to another. He sold newspapers and toiletry kits, and he also tried court reporting and mortgage brokering. He struck gold by founding Comdex, an annual computer trade show. He didn't stop there. He took the money and he built Las Vegas Sands, which became the largest casino company in the United States today. Today, the 83-year-old man is the richest person in Nevada, and his company spreads all around the world. He even has an entry in our most expensive man-made attractions video, which you can check out in the top right corner. Number 2. Larry Ellison, net worth $48 billion. Apple had Steve Jobs, Microsoft has Bill Gates, and Oracle has Larry Ellison. Larry's struggle started early when he was just a kid. He was born to a single mother who could not raise him, so he was given to his auntie and uncle. Life seemed to get better until his adoptive mother passed away. Larry decided to drop out of college and moved with everything he had to California. He worked many kinds of odd jobs for 8 years, one of them even putting together databases for the CIA. Then in 1977, he founded a software development company named Oracle. Although he stepped down as CEO 3 years ago, Oracle is still one of the largest tech companies in the world. We'll probably make a dedicated video on Larry in the near future because there are so many interesting things to share with you guys about him. For example, he owns one of the most expensive houses in the world. Number 1. Amancio Ortega, net worth $72.5 billion. Amancio Ortega, depending on which day of the week it is either the second or third richest person in the world. He gained his fortune from founding a fashion retail company you might have heard of, called Zara, in 1975. It took him over 20 years to transform it into a global brand. Today he controls several big-name brands as Massimo Dutti, Pull & Bear, Bershka, Wushu, and more under the same umbrella company, Inditex. They are generating over $75 billion per year. As a kid, he used to live with his father, who was a railway worker. He had to drop out of school and work alongside his father in order to make ends meet and survive. His first encounter with the world of fashion began when he worked as a shop hand for a local shirt maker. He learned as much as he could and moved on to do his own thing. We have a video dedicated to Zara alone, which is definitely worth your time. We know there are plenty of other incredible examples out there, and we're curious to know, which of these people inspires you the most? And if we were to make part 2, who should we include? We'll be in the comments joining the conversation. This is already a long ass video, but because you watched till the end, you get a bonus fact. Many of the world's smartest analysts agree the first person to become a trillionaire is alive today. Someone from our generation will become a trillionaire. Based on the way wealth is generated in the next 60 years, we should have 11 trillionaires living among us. If you've watched up to this point, comment trillionaire in the comments section just to prove you're a true A-Luxer. Thank you for spending some time with us, A-Luxers. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so you never miss another video. We also handpick these videos we recommend you watch next. We're also on all the social medias. Thank you for being an A-Luxer.